A very good evening to all. Dear children, yesterday I have uploaded Amma Ata Aidoo's play Anowa in Hindi, but today I am uploading the same play in English. So let us discuss the writer first. Amma Ata Aidoo is a writer from Ghana. She is a poet, dramatist, as well as academician. While she was obtaining the bachelor degree at the University of Ghana, she published her first play, The Dilemma of Ghost, in 1961. With the publication of the play, she became the first published African woman dramatist. In her writing, she has portrayed the role of African women in contemporary society. She criticizes those African who prefer West for than Africa for many benefits. She believes in a distinct African identity, which she views from a female perspective. She is a professor and has taught as a visiting professor in countries like United States, Britain, Germany, and Zimbabwe. She has received many awards and accolades, including 1992 Commonwealth Writers' Prize for Best Book in African category for her novel Changes. In many of her writing, we see women protagonists who are trying to break the stereotype image which society has imposed on them. In her novel and plays, we see women liberating themselves from traditional role, and Anowa is one such play. So, Amata Aidoo's play Anowa is based on a traditional folk tale of the legend of disobedient daughter in the oral tradition of Ghana. It is set in the 1970s in the Gold Coast, a place which is stuck between the traditional culture and the chaos of post colonial cultural modernity. Aidoo's play Anowa portrays Anowa as a modern disobedient daughter of the tale and locate her experience in the heritage of the imperialism, slavery, economic exploitation, and male dominance. Male dominance. Actually, most of the countries of Asia and Africa were colonized by the colonial power, European colonial power, whether they were British, Spanish, French, or Portuguese. So Ghana was also one such country which was colonized by the European power. So when they were liberated from the colonial power, the legacy of colonialism remained. So it was difficult for the African to liberate themselves from this legacy and to actually, because of their submissive attitude, their culture was totally declined, and it was a challenge for them to retain their own culture and tradition, which was highly influenced by Western culture. So, two another important voices in the play are Badua, Anowa's mother, who is held responsible for Anowa's disobedient behavior, as an old woman who believes the mouthpiece of the society, who becomes the mouthpiece of the society. In the play, dramatist has portrayed Anowa as a modern independent woman. She faces identity crisis and is not able to comprehend her status as disobedient. In our society, uh, it is believed that girls should be obedient. They should respect their elders, which include parents, grandparents, or any other family member and relative, even neighbor and society also. If they don't obey, then they are considered as disobedient, and they have to follow each and every rules and regulation imposed by them. So Amma Ata Aidoo published Anowa in 1970. It is the second play by Ghanaian writer who uses the strategies of structure, character, themes, and language of oral tradition of Akan tribe. She belongs to Akan tribe, as I have told you earlier, that she believes in African identity, and she being a member of Akan tribe, so she was proud of her tribal heritage. She set the play at the backdrop of post colonial Ghana, where the effect of imperialism, capitalism, and slavery can be seen on the people. On the other hand, it is an important time in the history of post colonial Ghana as it encounters the Western traders. An important strategy implied by Aidoo is the legend of the disobedient daughter, but she twists the theme. The tale tells about an independent woman who refuses to marry suitors that are brought by her family. Instead, she finds a man herself. Uh, and though he was outcast, she announces that she will marry the person to her family. So the daughter, because she herself has announced the will of marrying the man she has chosen, so she become a disobedient daughter first. As she finds a groom, because she has find a groom on her own, and secondly, and expected out of the her that she will live in her mother's house or nearby. Actually, in the Akan tradition, after the marriage of the girl, they are supposed to live either in their own house or nearby. But she abandons her house and start an independent life. The play is divided into three phases in Yebi on the highway and the big house at Ogua. Phase 1 starts with the old man and the old woman making the reading familiar with the post-colonial society of Ebi. They drop hint about the struggle of idea that is taking place. Means with the advent of modernization, things were changing and people were, the young generation was accepting newer ideas. Finally, they introduce Anowa as strange, not common, but an independent girl who has not been married even after 6 years from puberty, attaining puberty. She has rejected all suitors that her parents and family propose. The scene shifts to the house of Badua and Osam, Anowa's parent. Badua is worried that the reputation of the daughter is sinking as the whole village is talking about Anowa's disobedience. In our society, if a girl or woman doesn't obeys their parent, it is a matter of discussion. So, right at that moment, Anowa comes home and announces to her parents that she has found a man, Kofiako, and she will marry him. Her mother is not happy about it as she is aware of the reputation of Kofiako and she thinks he is not suitable for her. Uh, Kofiako was a man who was not highly respected, but he had a bad name in the society. But Anowa chooses her. So, her after her, so though her parent object, but they were not able to convince Anowa, and the couple got married. And after the marriage, they leave their native place Yebi to avoid any kind of controversy, vowing to never come back. Because Anowa and Kofi Ako thought they both thought that if they will continue to stay in the same place, then because their marriage was not accepted by the family of Anowa, so they might cause problem. So this the phase 1 ends. In phase 2, the dramatist discusses the married life of Anowa and Kofi Ako, who have become nomadic trader. It has been 2 years, but they are still childless. Anowa suggests Kofi Ako to take medicine, but he blames her for not able to conceive. This is something natural, and universal truth that a man never accepts his weakness, especially when it comes to bearing children. She even asks him to remarry, but he refuses, and thus the conflict arises between them. Kofi Ako wishes to have many slaves, but Anova opposes it. In phase 3, Aidoo portray Kofi as the richest man of the area, possessing many slaves, including women and children. Though they are still childless, but Kofi Ako lives a life like a British king. So he was living a very lavish life. But on the other hand, Anowa is living a simple and humble life, which Kofi doesn't like, and he wants her to live a life which he is living. So he he always used to get angry on her, and he wanted to send her back to their village. But Anowa begs him not to do it and advises her to remarry because she was happy with the happiness of Kofi Anno. Finally, here Anowa realizes that the reason of their childlessness is Akko, greed and virility. This news is spread in the community. Feeling ashamed, Kofi shoots himself. Anowa also dies, leaving her family shocked. And in the end of the play, we see that Anowa's parents are preparing for her funeral. So this is how the drama ends, and this is the tale of a disobedient daughter, which is quite similar to the theme of the folk tale. So a society doesn't accept an independent woman. It is still a stigma for a woman to choose, take decision of her life, and this is what Amata Aidoo has portrayed in his life, in his this drama. Thank you.